Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Motorsport Factory once again. For those of you tuning in for the first time, welcome to my channel. Today we have a 2003 Mitsubishi Eclipse 2.4 liter, and today we're going to be starting on removing the starter. Customer had tough time starting it time to time, so we're going to replace the starter for him anyway. And we checked out a lot of other things, and everything else checked out pretty well. So the only thing I wanted to suggest to the customer is that replacing some of these terminals, because some of them are cracked right in this area. So what I'm going to do, anytime you're working on electrical, you want to remove the negative battery, because that way you don't have any problems. And just move it out of the way. No, just wants to fight with me now. Okay. So what we're going to do, we're going to do that. And then what we're going to do is going to remove 4 12mm bolts right here, right? And then you're also going to just kind of dislodge the O2 sensor. There's another connection there. There's, if you see right here, if you see, oh, I don't have the greatest visual here. Trying to get you a good angle right here. Hopefully you can see me. Right here, it's probably connected right here, if you can see right there. There's one of those little plastic connectors there. And then the connector is actually right here. And for the O2 sensor, because what we're going to do is we're going to just slide this shield right off of here instead of using the oxygen sensor. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to be right back, and then we'll move on to the next step. Due to cold weather. Anyways. Alright, everybody, so we are got the heat shield off, and my flash isn't working because the weather's kind of cold. Hopefully you can see that. It's a bolt right there. I'm going to actually stop the recording for a second. I'll be right back. I'm going to try to get this flash to work so you guys have light to be able to see what I'm doing. Alright, got the light to work again. So one of the things I wanted to show you guys was there's a 14mm bolt right down here. If you can see where my hand is pointing, that's holding on to the starter heat shield bracket, part of it. And then you have one 8mm bolt right here. And then right below it is a 8mm as well. You'll be able to see it as soon as when you open the hood, once you got the exhaust manifold heat shield off. It's going to be a lot easier for you guys to work with. And then you got this one to take off, and then I'm going to take off that 14mm, and then this bracket should easily slide out from here. But I'll let you know the proper technique once I get both my hands free. So I'll be right back just to show you guys. Okay, guys, so we got the shield off. So shield's right here. And it just slides. You're gonna have to kind of just fight with it a little bit. I'm just gonna put it down right here, and then you have more clear access to your starter. So I believe you're gonna have to reach in, if you can see. Put my sleeve down because the car is still a little hot. So the one thing, you move this dust boot out of the way, and this should be a 12mm. Whoops, gotta make sure you guys are able to see that. You got a clean. See where my hand's pointing? It's a 12mm bolt. So you just slide your hand in. If you can get a ratchet through this hole right here, you can. Then you also have this connector right here, if you guys can see. I got to double check. It's been a while since I worked on one of these. I think you got to push either the tab down. There's a little tab right on top, and I should move this out of the way here. Try to get a good visual for you guys here. So as you can see, get my hand back in here. So there's this tab right on top. I'm going to try to push it down. I'll let you know once I'm done. I forget if you have to push it down or push it up. It's been a while. So and then you got to remove this top connector, and then Remember, like I said, the one by the boot here. Move that out of the way, and then you'll have more room to. Then I'll show you how actually what I'll show you now. It's a lot easier. It's right here. See, one of the bolts is 12 millimeter. I mean, excuse me, 14 millimeter right here, just right underneath this harness. And then there's another one. Try to get to it. Try to get clear access for here. There's one right at the bottom. Okay, so once we get those two, you'll be able to see. It's hard to get my camera in there. Actually, I'll try to get my camera in through here. So hopefully you can see that a whole lot better. If you can see that, it's just right above the motor mount bracket or transmission mount, as you can see that right there. And then once you got those off, you'll be set to go. All right. But just what I forgot to mention was, if you could take this bolt off right here, which is a 12 millimeter right here, to give you more room to wiggle the harness out of the way, will give you also more room to move all the cables and whatnot out of the way too. Alright guys, so one of the things I did was I put a ratchet wrench on here. Since I don't have a long enough wrench, and I don't have a any other type of tool to use, so what I do was I used a ratchet wrench, snap on one, and I took my 1/2-inch drive and I connected it to the open-end socket, and then just cranked it down and opened it up, and then just ratchet away. Hopefully you guys can see it clearly. I'm gonna do that one, and then I did the same thing with the bottom bolt. So just go ahead and do that, and then I'm gonna be right back, and then slide the starter out for you guys. Okay, I got those 2 bolts off. Now the starter should just slide right out, like it is right now. Then, trying to record with one hand and lifting up like that. Well, the other thing you want to do before you start trying to put the new one on, grab the old one, I mean the new one, take it out of the box, and just start comparing the starter with the old one. Make sure you got the right part. And I'm trying to do this with my hand. I'm going to cut off all that stuff in a second. Got the warranty. What you always want to do is compare your connections. Makes the solenoid looks fairly the same. They all look pretty good. Everything relatively looks the same. So when you're doing, then just pop the new one in, and then give the old one back to your supplier. So okay, reverse procedure. I'm going to do the same step, and then I'll be right back after I put the new one in. All right. Okay, guys. So we got everything back on. One of the things you have to remember: the 2 14 millimeter bolts that are on the starter itself. You're going to be kind of wrenching at it for a while, but take your time. And then once you got it back on, the new starter, then you put the nut back on here. Then you reconnect the. Hopefully, you guys can see what I'm doing. Connect this. This also either push down or push up. I was kind of feeling both ways, and I forget how it was. And make sure the dust boot gets back on the cover nicely. Do that, and then you're pretty much done. And then just reverse steps and just put the shields back on. Reconnect the bolts that go towards the to this harness, and then fire it up. You should be good to go. Alright, so we got all the heat shields back on, all the nuts and bolts are back on, the oxygen sensor reconnected. So once you've done that, one of the things you guys always want to remember to do before you put all your heat shields, connect your starter and tighten them down, put all the connections back on. Just put the O2 sensor back on and fire it up to make sure it works before you put your heat shields and everything back on, to make sure you don't have any problems, concerns or any other issues. What I also did on the 14mm bolts, in case I didn't say it, I kind of forget now because I haven't had breakfast. I put anti-seize on the bolts, on all the bolts. So the next time you have to do it, it won't be as problematic as it is the first time around. Alright guys, so that concludes the tutorial for replacing the starter on the 2003 Eclipse. From 99, I believe it was 99 to 2003 or 2004 Eclipses, and as long as it's a 2.4 liter, that's how you take the starter out, and the Gallants with the 2.4 liter that has the same setup is pretty much the same thing. So thanks for tuning in to Motorsport Factory, and please like, rate, subscribe to the channel, join me on Facebook. Link to my website is in the description as well. So I'll see you guys in my next video.